Hello friends, welcome to DCBA Online. This is another lecture for moment distribution method, and this is continuation of my previous lecture in which we had solved problem type 1, and this is problem type 2, and this problem includes one end that is fixed and another end is pin jointed. Okay, I've also solved this problem using Carney's method. You can refer to it. The link would be given in the description. Okay, so let us start with the problem. The first step of the problem is fixed end moments. Okay, if you are not well versed with fixed end moments, you can find the tables in which the formulas for various kinds of loading of fixed end moments would be given. Okay, so uh, let me assume that you already know fixed end moment, and we'll proceed further. Okay, so first is MFAB, that is fixed end moment at A to B. Okay, so MFAB is minus WL square by 12 because there's a UDL that is spanning across this segment, that is AB. Okay, and W is 60, L is 4 meters, and MFAB comes out to be minus 80 kilonewton meter. Now there's a reason that I've taken minus sign. It is because this UDL tries to bend my beam, or it tries to sag my beam, okay, in this manner, and thus there is an anti-clockwise movement, a resisting anti-clockwise movement that is generated at A, and anti-clockwise according to my sign convention is negative. Okay, that is the reason I have taken it as negative. So it is minus 80 kilonewton meter. MFBA is WL square by 12. It is plus 80 kilonewton meter. Okay, then MFBC is minus WAB square by L square, which is equal to, where W is 80, A is 2, B is again 2, and L is 2 plus 2, 4. So MFBC is minus 40 kilonewton meter. MFCB is WA square B by L square, where again W is 80, A is 2, B is 2, and L is 2 plus 2, 4. So MFCB is plus 40 kilonewton meter. MFCD is minus WAB square by L square, which is again for a point load acting at a distance A, okay, from support, and where A is 1 meter, B is 2 meters, W is 45, and L is 1 plus 2, 3. Okay, so MFCD is equal to minus 20 kilonewton meter. And now MFDC is equal to WA square B by L square, where W is again 45, A is 1, B is 2, and L is 1 plus 2, 3. So this is positive and is equal to 10 kilonewton meters. So our step 1 is done. Okay, now let us go to step 2. Step 2 is distribution factors. Okay, what is basically distribution factors is it gives us how much contribution of the members is there for resisting the loads. Okay, I'll explain it to you later on in this video tutorial, but let us now concentrate on how to find distribution factor. Okay, so we have to tabulate it, and the first column is of joint, and we have to write those joints which are intermediate supports. Okay, so in our case A and D are end supports, whereas B and C are my intermediate supports. Intermediate supports meaning that they join two or more members. So your B is joining BA as well as BC, and C is joining CB and CD. Okay, now relative stiffness. Relative stiffness, if you might be knowing, then it's good, but if you don't know, don't worry, I'll just tell you the formula. It's very simple formula. For my intermediate support, if I suppose I take member BA, and where A is the far off end for member BA, okay, and if my far off end is fixed, then my formula is EI by L, where L is the length of the member. Okay, but if my far off end is hinged, okay, where in this case suppose CD, in the case of CD, D is my far off end and D is hinged, or it is roller, basically it has to be a pin jointed, then the relative stiffness is 3 by 4 EI by L. Okay, very simple. Only two conditions and two formulas you have to remember. Alright. Now by substituting in these formulas, you need to uh, take into consideration that the I is changing for different members. Okay, so for BA it is I, and BC also it is I, but for CD it is 1.5 times I. So I have written here relative stiffness. For BA it is EI by 4, for BC it is EI by 4 again, for CB it is EI by 4 again, and for CD it is 3 by 4 E into 1.5 I upon 4 into 3, where 3 is the length of member CD. Now in our case, E is constant because I am considering the beam to be of single material. It could be of any material, be it concrete or be it steel, timber, anything, but it's a single material. Okay, that is the reason E is constant. Then total relative stiffness. Total relative stiffness is basically summation of relative stiffness of different members connecting the joint. Okay, so total relative stiffness for joint B is equal to relative stiffness of member BA plus relative stiffness of member BC. So if I sum it up, I get it as EI by 2, and total relative stiffness for members for joint C is equal to summation of these two relative stiffnesses. So if I sum it up, I get 5 by 8 EI. Okay, now distribution factor, that is what we have to find, is equal to relative stiffness divided by total relative stiffness. So for BA it is, if I divide this by this, I get as 0.5. If I divide this by this, I get 0.5 again for BC. For CB it is 0.4, and for CD it is 0.6. Okay, so our step 2 is done. Step 2 distribution factor is over. Now let us move to the next step, that is drawing our beam again. Okay, and going further with the real moment distribution iterations. Okay, this is our final step basically. So I've drawn your boxes surrounding my intermediate supports B and C, as you can see here, and now let us fill these boxes. The upper portion, the upper boxes are filled by distribution factors, what we found out in previous step, that is 0.5 for BA, 0.5 for BC, 0.4 for CB, and 0.6 for CD. So these are my distribution factors, and the lower boxes would be filled by fixed end moments. So here fixed end moment of AB, MFBA, MFBC, MFCB, MFCD, and MFDC. Okay, simple enough, right? Now I'll be explaining you a concept of moment distribution method. Okay, let us consider this joint B, which is having fixed end moment as 80 for BA and minus 40 for BC. Now these two moments are acting at this joint. Okay, and two moments are of different magnitudes and of different nature. Okay, one is clockwise, another is anti-clockwise. All right, so what happens is basically, if there are two moments of different magnitude and different nature, then there is a resultant moment that is created. That is basically, if I just sum it up, 80 and minus 40, I'll get a resultant moment of 40 kilonewton meter clockwise direction. Why did I get it as clockwise direction? Because 80, the larger magnitude, was of clockwise nature. That is the reason when I summed these two up, I got 40 as clockwise, and this 40 kilonewton meter has rotated my beam, as you can see here. My joint has been rotated. Okay, and as a structural engineer, we cannot allow rotation of joints. Okay, so we have to balance it. So if there is a clockwise 40 kilonewton meter on my joint, to balance it, I'll have to put another 40 kilonewton meter, but this time it would be anti-clockwise. So since my anti-clockwise is negative, I have to put minus 40 here. Okay, and now you can see my beam has become straight again. After I put minus 40, it has become straight again. So in reality, what happens is that we cannot put minus 40. Okay, the beam has its own strength. The beam is made up of certain material. It may be steel, concrete, timber, but be it of any material, it has its own strength, right? So this minus 40 is basically contributed by the beam itself. the BA contributes some part of minus 40 and BC as well contributes some part of minus 40. Okay, and how much part is contributed by BA and BC is given by distribution factors. So I just have to multiply this by its distribution factor to get the contribution by BA and contribution by BC. So these are the values that we require in moment distribution iterations. Okay, there will be many iterations that we have to do in moment distribution method, but these are the values that we require. Okay, now there's one more concept when there's a pin jointed end, when the end is pin jointed. Okay, so as you can see here, there's a 10 kilonewton meter clockwise moment at my joint, which is again going to rotate it. Okay, and what happens is basically pin jointed supports cannot they do not have strength enough to counteract this, as this joint had strength to counteract this 40 kilonewton meter by providing minus 40. Pin jointed ends do not have that strength. Okay, so we as structural engineers, we have to provide that strength to the joint, and we have to provide minus 10 kilonewton meter. Okay, so now we have put minus 10 kilonewton meter, but what happens that when we put minus 10 kilonewton meter, we have to take it on the next immediate joint. Okay, we have to carry over it, and when we carry over it, we have to multiply it by half. So this minus 10 becomes minus 5 here. Okay, you got it? And now when we sum it up, see, we got 0. So basically this is what we wanted. We wanted zero moment at pin joint, because it cannot carry any moment. Okay, if it carries moment, it will get rotated. So this is what we wanted basically. So let us start with our iterations. Okay, so these are my this is my beam, and our first step is to balance this joint. So I put minus 10, I carry over it. Okay, and now I'll again sum it up. Alright, so I'll sum up all the moments. So this is minus 80, this is 80, minus 40, 40, this is minus 20 and minus, so it becomes minus 25, and this is 10 minus 10, it becomes 0. So this has become 0 here. Okay, so now as we have balanced this joint, we are not going to touch it anymore. Okay, we are not going to disturb it anymore, and we'll proceed with our iterations. So first step for iteration is balancing. As I showed you the concept of balancing, that is 80 minus 40 would be a plus 40, and to balance this plus 40, my beam has to give an anti-clockwise moment of minus 40. So this is basically called as balancing. Okay, and here again 40 minus 25 is a 15 kilonewton meter of clockwise nature, and to balance that moment, my beam has to provide a minus 15 kilonewton meter of moment, that is anti-clockwise nature. And how much part of this 40 is contributed by BA and BC would be given by my distribution factors. So next step is basically distribution factor. Here it is 0. As you can see here, it is 0 because there is nothing to be balanced here, and it doesn't even have a distribution factor, so we just have to write 0 here. Okay, but here we have I can multiply this minus 40 by 0.5. I'll get minus 20 and minus 20. Again, when we come here, I'll multiply minus 15 by 0.4. I'll get minus 6, and minus 15 into 0.6 is minus 9. Okay, and here it will be 0 because we don't have to touch this joint anymore. Okay, now next step is carryover. Carryover means basically this moment comes here and becomes half. So half of 0 is half itself. Minus 20 has to be carried over here, and it becomes minus 10. So minus 20 into half is minus 10. Again here carryover. So minus 20 comes here, it becomes minus 10. Minus 6 comes here, it becomes minus 3. So this is my third step in my iteration process. Okay, this is basically one complete iteration in which first step was balancing, distribution, and the third step is carryover. Again carry over here. So I won't carry over this moment here because I don't want to disturb this. Okay, but this 0 would get carry over here. Okay, even if you don't write these zeros, it's fine. Okay, it's perfectly fine. But just to show you that this 0 gets carry over here, I have deliberately written here 0. But as an how you practice moment distribution method, I would recommend that you do not write zeros here. Okay. Alright, so this has completed one iteration. We'll go for next iteration. So again the first step of next iteration is balancing, and here it is 0 and -3, so I balance it by +3. As I sum it up, if I sum up 0 and -3, I get -3, which is of anti-clockwise nature, and to resist that moment my beam has to provide a clockwise moment of +3. Okay, same here, -10 plus 0 is -10. To resist it, my beam has to provide +10. Second step is distribution. I distribute this. 3 into 0.5 is 1.5, 1.5. Again 10 into 0.4 is 4 and 6. Okay, and here it is 0. Second step of iteration. Now third step of iteration, that is again carry over. So I carry over this here, 1.5 into half here, so it's 0.75. Again in my next segment, okay, this carryover has to be carried segment wise. Okay, AB is one segment, BC is another segment, and CD is another segment. So carryover has to be done only in respective segments. Okay, I cannot carry over my B to D, or I cannot carry over from C to A. Okay, it has to be done in respective segments itself. So 1.5 becomes 0.75, and 4 becomes 2, 0, 0, 0. I won't carry 6 because I don't want to disturb my pin joint. Okay, this is my second iteration completed. Let us carry out with third iteration. And okay, you have to carry over this iteration till you get a very low value for my distribution. Okay, now this distribution is 1.5 and here it is 4 and 6, which is quite high, so I cannot stop here. Even if you stop at this distribution, you will get answer, but that answer would be very approximate sort of, it won't be exact. Okay, so I'll have to carry another iteration, and first step of iteration is balancing. Again I balance this 0 and 2, which is -2. I balance 0.75 and 0, which is -0.75. Second is distribution, so I distribute my -2 into -1, minus 0.75 into -0.3 and -0.45 by multiplying with the respective distribution factors, and here it is 0, of course. Third is carryover. Okay, so now you saw my distribution is basically, it has come down to 0.3 and 0.45, but still I want a lower value. So let us try with another iteration. Let us check if we get a very less value. Okay, so if we see here, we are getting as 0.075 and 0.075, which is quite low. So we can actually stop our iterations here. Okay, we just complete the whole iteration process, and that is the third step of iteration itself. Okay, so now basically we are getting quite low values. Okay, and we can end our iterations here, but there's one very important thing in moment distribution method, that you cannot end your iteration over carryover step. Okay, that is, so I have to do another iteration, I will have to do another iteration, and I have to always end it on the distribution step. Okay, so my distribution step is here complete, and since I could not end my iteration 1 2 3 4th, we had 4 iterations earlier, right? So since I could not end my iteration on carryover step, I had to do another iteration and I had to end it on distribution step. Okay, so this completes our iteration process. Now we'll get the final moments. We just have to sum it up. Okay, sum up from right this value to this value. Everything that is in the perfect vertical line, we have to add it up, everything. Notice that you should not add these distribution factors. Okay, you have to add only the moments. So starting from 80, 80 minus 20, 0, 1.5, 0, minus 1, 0, 0.075, 0, and minus 0.05. So if I sum it up, these are the values that I get. Okay, minus 89.7125, 60.525 minus 60.525, plus 28.1725 minus 28.1725, and 0 here. Okay, so these are my final moments. You can check these with the Kani's method problem that I've done for the same type of problem. Okay, it is type 2 problem, and the link would be given in the description. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.